This episode of the Long Run Podcast is sponsored by Skechers.
Good evening, everybody. It's 7 o'clock on Friday, and that means only one thing. It's the Long Run Show, live stream and podcast. Welcome along. Lovely to see you all. Thanks for coming. I'm Ian Wilkerson. This is the place for your news, views, and interviews. If you're an everyday runner, you want to learn something, this is the place to be. And hopefully we'll have a few laughs along the way as well. I'm joined by Mr. Chris Ford, the founder of the FORDY running community, donning his Skechers t-shirt, the lovely people at Skechers who are helping us out and sponsoring us. We've also got fellow running coach guru, Mr. Alan Bowley, and King of the Lightning Round, although he's been given a week off on that this week because we haven't got any guests. You're just stuck with us. And technical wizard Toby's here as well. We're going to be talking about, well, we're going to be reflecting on last week and looking forward to this week, but we're also, a little bit later on, we're going to be talking about tapering because that's all over our agenda at the moment because we are 3 weeks away this weekend from the Edinburgh Marathon. So
where's
we are having some of that.
Where's that time gone?
I don't know, mate. It's just flown,
it
just seems like the other day that I just finished the Watford half marathon and then I was doing it all over again.
It's mad, isn't it? I keep, because of you, keep getting me dates wrong, and like we was working out we're like 3 or 4 weeks away, and then all of a sudden we're like 3 weeks away, and then like, shouldn't you be taking? Because we were like talking on whatever night it was, Tuesday or whatever, or Monday, and we were saying about mileage for next week, and then we're like, what about? Oh, aren't you meant to be tapering? We're like, oh yeah, should we be tapering? It's like you totally forget, because I think like I was out on my long run. I did my long run today. With Simon, we was talking about it, and you're kind of on that momentum of carrying on into that little sort of weekly mileage. You know, like, so where we've been like doing 50-mile weeks and stuff like 40-mile weeks. It's like, all right, I feel like I need to keep doing it because I'm there and I'm doing it continuously and constantly. It's like next week, it's like that fear of sort of, I mean, we're going to talk about tapering later, but sort of that fear of stepping down. And we're like still deliberating what actually we shouldn't be doing. Like, you know, we're so in the moment with everything in terms of this run and this event. I think when you get towards the end of that plan, you start already, even before you start tapering, you start panicking about stuff. It's
I'm sure we're going to get sometime in the next couple of weeks when we're going to dig deeper into the world of paranoia, and I'm sure lots of our listeners will be able to contribute to that. On that note, I just wanted to say that with episode 46, so we've been doing this for a little while now, and it's been we're really pleased. It's been going really well, and we've originally it was sort of like designed as a way to keep in touch with the people in the running community, but we've sort of like branched out, and lots of new listeners have joined us. So I just wanted to say that this is not, if you're listening as a podcast, if you've downloaded it on Apple or Amazon or Spotify, wherever you are, this is not quite your conventional sort of podcast. It's not particularly polished and all this sort of thing, but we do this as a live stream, which is linked to the 40 Rounds Running Community Facebook account and also to FORDY's very well subscribed YouTube channel. Look out for videos, particularly on Sundays. Anyway, so what happens is that we get logged in, so people are able to offer their opinions, ask us questions and stuff like that. So we do jump into the comments sometimes, and I think sometimes if you're on a if you're listening to it on a podcast, it can jump about a bit. We mention stuff, we talk about our mates and things like that. So we do jump around a little bit. So there was a couple of reviews and stuff that people perhaps didn't quite get the right into the stick of what we're about. So that's what we do.
That's a good shout. Because if you're listening to this, it's not as expected on 40 Rounds. We are bucking the trend, and we're doing everything a little bit differently, which is surprising for some. But yeah, so we film these live. We don't we're not some media company and, you know, sit in a thing and talk about stuff and then like get the edit out and someone then makes us all sound awesome. We literally film this We want as much interaction from you guys live as possible. And thanks already. I'm seeing questions already coming in, and evening everybody. And we try and dive into that as much as we want. We love the fact that it's interactive, and we love the fact that sometimes we have believe it or not, we do have a plan for the show in terms of a theme, and then we divert completely off. And whether it's talking about orange chocolate or talking about, I don't know, Toby going to the Portaloo 15 times, wherever direction we go is usually led by the people who are watching it live. So if you are listening to this podcast, apologies for the sort of, the way we sort of float about, but that's kind of how
we're not the best when it comes to getting to the point and structure and things like that. But we try to entitle. We use the titles to sort of like the headlines and the important bits and the things that we think that people will actually be interested in, rather than the quality of Terry's chocolate oranges and things like that.
I've got to give a shout out, Wilco.
We get a bit straight.
People who've left reviews, because we really appreciate it. And I've also got to give a shout out to the person in Vietnam who listened to last week's show.
That's great. Yeah, if you leave a review, I mean, we will. Constructive criticism, we're all up for. We're not pros at this game. If you think that there's some certain things that you'd like us to do and things like that, please.
You say we're not pros. We say we're not pros, but we're regularly top 5, number 2 UK running podcast. We are the biggest podcast in Malta. We're the biggest running podcast in Malaysia. And Al, where are we now? The biggest running podcast?
Well, it's coincidence that we had Ben on. I'm going to Copenhagen, and we're now number 1 in Denmark.
Denmark. We are taking over the world. But Al, is it? And I'm maybe going off on a tangent. Shock. Isn't Denmark famous for bacon?
Don't know. Being a vegan, I wouldn't know.
Well, that's why I mention it. Yeah, I'll just throw that out there. Anyway, right. So we've already got about 6 million questions. So thanks to everybody for your questions. And
let's just tell people how they can get their questions to us, shall we? If you're on Facebook, you can please log in and on the link that Toby's put on the Facebook group, and then we can see your name and we know who it is, because often it's one of our mates and we like to say hello. So if you could do that, that would be great. He's just put that up now. It'll be on I think it's on the London Marathon and the Great North Run subsite as well, isn't it? So do that, or if during the week you think, you can email us at longrunshow@gmail.com, and we can take on board your comments and ask us a question. Ask us about whatever you like. Really, we'll always.
Yeah, it doesn't even need to be running
eventually.
We don't really care. And I've got to talk. You say about an email. I had a great couple of emails this week from these. You talk about marketing at Polished Product. We've had some people who want to help us with our marketing for our podcast.
Oh, do we?
Yeah, apparently we need some help because we need to take it to the next level.
Where the hell is that?
It was quite interesting, the stuff that they say we should be doing. Basically, when it comes to sort of promoting this, we are at like 0, and like we should be doing all this other stuff. But I've got to be honest with you, I got bored of reading it, and 2, I thought I just can't be bothered. So we were going to rely on our listeners to keep spreading the word. So you are our marketing gurus. Everybody, you're all ambassadors for the Long Run podcast. Just keep telling everyone, and then we don't have to bother with any of this.
Yeah, let's face it, you don't want some marketing bod telling you what podcast you want to listen to. You want your
Free
mates
emails,
to tell you. You want people that you're out and about with.
Yeah,
the general public.
We ain't interested. Right, so let's get into this week's show, because some of this will actually be running related, and some of it will add some value. We've got to give a shout out, by the way, to the ladies last week. I think they did. You boys weren't here. You were large in it around the world. But they girls last week did an amazing job, and 100% are coming back and are doing a, is it fair to say, loose women takeover? Or do you mean I'll get shot for that tomorrow?
I mean, I'm happy to have every other week off, and if Sabrina or Abby want to come on, then
they did
do what they like. I can get back to my Friday night activities of going out drinking and socialising.
But yeah, so I think we've got to get the ladies back on. So thanks to them, admin Abby, for last week. Really good show. Really had a lot of good fun with that. And we want to do that more. So if you want to come on the show, send an email in. I'll probably read it in about 6 weeks. So get it in now. But yeah, so there we go. So big shout out to those.
We're booking now for Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas lineup. If you want to be a guest in 2024, email in. What's the email, Wilco?
longrunshow@gmail.com.
So he's been away, still remembered it. Did you find your ball, by the way, on the 16th? Was it on the beach?
Pardon?
Was the ball on the beach on the 16th?
No.
What, you made it?
I played 5 rounds with 1 ball.
Oh, right, we're not getting into that. This is a running podcast, Will. Can I always get bored with your
everyone, you don't want to hear about my holiday. It was lovely. Anyway, but while I was swanning away, everybody was having a whale of a time at the Vitality 10K, wasn't it?
It was so good. It was so good. But the weekend started really well because we did the Westminster Mile. I took the 2 girls down there. Tobe came along. Si took the Ralphie and Millie, and there was loads of people there. It was awesome. And we had Sarah was volunteering. I can't remember who else, but there was some of our volunteers were there on Saturday as well. And it was just fab. And it was just a super cool event. I'd really recommend if you've got a family, kids and that lot, and they don't mind doing a bit of running, a bit of sport, whatever. Really get them in. It's so well organised. It was basically a morning out, wasn't it, Toe? And then I got taken to Nike Town and basically got robbed blind by both my daughters. But it was, I wouldn't recommend that, but it was a really, really good event. It was so cool seeing Scarlett. They've been using her for for a lot of their promo stuff.
Yeah, I don't know where she got that from.
Yeah, I know, it's quality. She nicked sunglasses. I'll tell you quick. I know we've got girls here, but a funny story about Scarlett. So we're cruising along. Daisy's just like smashing it out. She's like a machine. Scarlett's not, I wouldn't say whining, but she's saying, I've got to slow down. Sort of sandbagging a bit. Nick comes back to her. As soon as she sees the finish, she's like, yeah, see you later, you lot. And absolutely drills a lot of us with the biggest smile. That's what that picture, and done us all. So she was totally sandbagging, wasn't she, Toe? But with 200 meters to go, she just like turbocharged and just done us all. It was quality. Absolute. And the volunteers, right, were so nice at that event. They were taking pictures of us as a family and stuff. They were amazing, the volunteers. Like, they gave the kids the medals and stuff. So I've got to give a big shout out. If you're one of the volunteers from the Westminster Mile, thanks very much, because you made the day for us as well by giving the girls their medals and stuff. It was a super, super, super day. And then obviously we went into Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, the Vitality 10K. So if you're listening to this in Mongolia, there's a big event on a Bank Holiday Monday, running through the streets of London. You start at Buckingham Palace. It's a 10K. They get a big elite field there. There was a championship, and obviously this year, Simone Farah was there, and he got beaten famously now by Ellis, who works at Up and Running. Now, Ellis, just as a heads up, is not some like just regular dude like us. He's a proper elite runner, right? So, but he does work in Up and Running stores as well. So that's why that was a lot of promo around that. But he beat Sir Mo, which was not that we want to see Mo get beaten, but it was a good story, feel good story about the event. And obviously, all the other elites who just smashed it out of the park. And what's her name? McLaughlin.
Eilish.
Is it Eilish?
Eilish,
yeah. She like destroyed it as well, and it was just great. And then the 2 highlights for me were the volunteers at the end, seeing them as always, just giving me such sounds sentimental but warm feelings when I see those guys. But also at the start, we had a big what was 2 years ago a traditional meetup for 40 runs, and to see new faces and old faces together was incredible. It felt really like we used to do, and I think that got diluted and missed during COVID. And a lot of people have joined through the pandemic, and they've never experienced that before, and they've never got to be.
The picture looked amazing. That group.
It was incredible. What was nice, everybody was mingling, chatting. Anxieties were sort of at an all-time low because everyone was just getting on. And there was some fun it was just great, and then, to see everybody together like that just before a big race, it took us back 2 years doing it out. It's like it used to be and what it was all about, right?
I wasn't there, Chris. I didn't see it.
No, but I'm saying about it 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm teasing you. Yeah. No, it did look like it was back to normal. We talked a lot about how COVID has affected everyone and whether races would come back and would it all change. And whilst there may be changes at the margins about how races are organised, the pre-bit and the post-bit is kind of why we do it.
Yeah. It
was great to see.
Yeah.
What I would say is I saw on Facebook, and I'm sure I'm not the only person who's got some empathy with this. There were a couple of people who just said, I saw you all having such great fun, but I was just too shy and I didn't want to come over.
Oh, that drives me nuts. That drives me nuts. Anybody who, and I get it, right? Because that's the reason why I started all this malarkey, is because as an anxious human being in general who suffers terribly with all this sort of stuff, this is why I started what we do, right? To find like-minded individuals who just want to run and have a good time, right? And that's what it's all about, be together. But to say that, you know, you're anxious or you didn't have the confidence to come up, please make sure you come up and join in next time. Don't feel, you know, that it's a little bit, you know, you don't feel right coming up or whatever it was, or coming up what people are saying. So always, and even if you're listening to this podcast and you're not part of the Facebook community because you're not on Facebook or whatever, and, you know, I totally understand that. Always come up. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to be, you know, a member of the club, member of the Facebook community. We don't care. We don't care whether you're, you know, running for Wear Joggers or, you know, part of Lonely Goat. We couldn't give a monkeys. If you're on your own and you know, you're suffering a bit with anxiety, whatever, and you're seeing there's a, you know, good group of people having a bit of a laugh, just come over, say hello. You know, it's what it's all about. It's being together. You know, it's all being part of it. We're all in this together. We get, I say a million times, we get one go in this rodeo. So, you know, let's have the best time as we can. And I think on Monday, Sunday as well, but Monday it really captured that.
I think you do get that more at this sort of like the big 10Ks particularly, don't you? Because they are so inclusive that, you know, so many people have got a 10K in them.
Yeah,
like sometimes a half marathon, people won't, I won't go to that because it's a half marathon, it's too long and stuff like that. But everybody, if you want to go to a big 40 event, book one of the 10Ks in London.
Yeah, and I think as well, like it showed there was one of the Southend graduates from the Couch to 5K had now stepped up to do the 10K. It was her first 10K. We had some of the ladies from our Couch to 5, well, it was Couch to 5, but now they've gone beyond that, from our Monday group in Broxbourne coming along and stuff like that. And it just shows you, you know, you say with a 10K, it's a great event, but also, right, it sounds funny, but it's over quickly and you can get to the pub. So like, we ended up, we went to the pub. We was only there a short period of time. We had to get back, but we was there. And then to see everybody as well coming and going in the pub afterwards, again, that's what it's all about. And we've got big plans for this year in terms of like Southend Half Marathon and then the Great North Run, and, you know, trying to get back to what we do best. And I think with what Alan and the guys did in sort of Dublin, it sort of kick-started everything back for the year, if that makes any sense, and sort of re-energized the emphasis of getting together and having some fun. I think that's definitely the ethos of the club, is to be inclusive and to get everybody together and have a good time.
Talking about having some fun, it brings us on to the events of this weekend. Now, you're all off to Peterborough again, aren't you?
Yeah, we're back. We're back. We're this Skyathlon 2022. We've got, I think, 25 maniacs jumping out of perfectly good airplanes this weekend, and then doing a bit of cycling and then running straight afterwards. So if you want to get involved in next year, email whatever the long run is, email us at the
longrunShow@gmail.com.
So if you want to do a skydive, tandem skydive, and then when you land, it's like the ultimate triathlon. So you land, you then get out your harness, jump on a bike and cycle the same distance that you fell quite quickly from the plane. And then once you've returned, you then jump off your bike. No cheating, Toby. And then, because Toby cheated
again.
And then you run the same distance and then you're done. So Chloe, I don't know whether she's listening tonight, but she's the current world champion skiathlete.
So what was her time then? What's the mark?
I can't remember. We've got to look back. We're going to have to look back at what it was, because we had her on the show. Don't remember. Don't you remember? We had her on the show. So we'll have to look back at what that time was for this weekend. But yeah, so incredible.
Again, is she defending her title?
What's that?
Is she defending her title, or are we going to have?
No, she's not. She's not. I think she's quite confident. But yeah, so it's raising money for Transitions UK again, which is a UK youth-based charity. So it's a support mentoring service for, you know, young people with the crisis in mental health that's coming our way for our young people after the pandemic. Service is going to be needed more than ever. So that's raising money for that, which is awesome. So we're super excited, but what a busy weekend we've got. So got some incredible people coming up there to help us out. But I've had a shocker this weekend, because I've actually got 2 parties back to back, right? So I've got to be up, right? I've had one. So that's why I did my long run today. I've got to be in Peterborough early doors, and then I've got to get back to Southend for a party that's going to finish well into the night, if you know what I mean, out. Get up again and do it, get to Peterborough, do the next one, and then I've got to go to a 40th. So I've had one. So Monday I'm going to be broken. Absolutely broken. But look, as I said, you only get one time on this dance floor, so let's just have a good time. So
what are the logistics of it all from an organisational point of view then?
It's a nightmare because you've got to try and get everyone booked up to do the skydive, and then you've got to figure out who's, because this year we opened it up so people could do the skydive, run or cycle. So when we did it last year, everybody had to complete all the elements. But this year we put in a team element. So some people might not have a bike. Some people may have a bike. Some people not fancy the skydive, but don't want to then cycle after. So we've opened it up a bit this year. So that's kind of made logistically a bit of a harder situation to manage. But at the end of the day, I'm not complaining because it's going to be great. It's going to raise loads of money for the charity. So it is what
Sabrina
it is.
Sabrina must be fuming that she had to ride a bike last year and she wouldn't have had to have done it if she'd done it.
No, I don't think. I think we would have made her do it anyway. we'd have made her do it anyway. So no, so let's get there. So super excited. So that's why we long run today, because basically we're going to be supporting and helping out. I'm conscious, Wilco. We've had a lot of input from the guys. Thanks everybody for all the comments and stuff. So Al, how many have we had? We've had quite a lot of questions, haven't we already?
I don't think I've been this busy since the start.
Yeah, so should we smash through a lot of these?
Let's do a few questions, mate. Let's have a few observations of the audience.
I'm going to go with a bit of editorial license here. We've probably got 3 or 4 questions that are not marathon and tapering related. So
we'll do them now then.
We'll do with those ones first. And apologies to anyone that wasn't listening last week, but we're going to go back to last week because Abby, who was on the show, wants to know, Toby, how did you get on with the hills in London Vitality 10K?
Oh, I've got to tell you about that.
Yeah, Chris, enlighten us, mate.
Right, can I just put this out there? He has got absolutely, if you weren't listening to the show last week, Toby claimed right at the end of the show, so we couldn't argue about it for half an hour, right, that there was hills in London for the Vitality 10K route. We then did the Vitality 10K. We all went round. We done, pretty good times for us. And then at the end of it, everybody on my Strava and on Instagram absolutely nailed Tobe to a post because everyone was saying that's an amazing time considering the hills that you had to run up and basically just killing Tobe.
I'm glad that they acknowledged the hills.
No, there's no hills, Tobe.
There are hills. You can't say you ran around that course.
Tobe, let's let him have his piece. Let's let him defend himself. Come on in. Where are these hills then?
Tobe, tell us.
All over.
Where?
The first 2K goes uphill.
No, see, the thing is, he's
claiming... turn up and go up a hill.
He's claiming...
they are big hills, but they are elevation, which is a hill.
Right, Al, I tell you what, let's do this impartially. Al wasn't there, but he's got access to the Strava and stuff. Al, have you had a look at this about the hills?
I have. I've analysed it.
So can you clarify the situation on the hills, where there was or there wasn't?
Yeah. I think at the peak, and I'm talking the top here, it was about 3 meters.
So what you're saying is it goes up?
No, Toby, you can't count that.
It don't constitute a hill, mate.
It goes up.
Right, can you email us in at, what is it, Wilco? Hills at
longrunShow@gmail.com.
And can you tell us if you think Tobe's finally lost the plot? I think he's been in that office too long, isn't he? But anyway, he got carried out last week on hills. Sorry, Al, what was the question?
Well, I'm just going to apologise to Abby. I don't think we got to the bottom of how did he find the hills. Yeah.
But thanks for coming on the
keep searching for the answer.
I love the hills.
Right. We've got a few shoe questions.
Did you
want to say
just mind me saying?
I've reminded you of something.
Yeah.
Right. SC Brit is loving the Velocity Nitro 2s. Yeah. So wants to know if you've got any views about where Puma may be going in the shoe front going forward.
Yeah, they've got the new Deviate Nitro coming. That's coming out. That looks fantastic. It looks like they fixed the heel issue that people had in terms of the heel slip, and it looks like it's lost a bit of weight. So that is a great shoe. If you can't get on with the Saucony Endorphin Speed because it's too soft, look at that when that comes out. The Fast R, which just looks crazy. They've got a 5K shoe coming. They're just killing it. Honestly, they're absolutely, for what you'd say is a new brand. They've been back on the scene for a year and a bit. They're absolutely killing it with Puma. Really big fans of them at the moment. Really, really big fans. But I'm going to be a bit controversial. I don't think yet at the moment it's going to be my daily trainer of the year. I'll come on to that in a video coming out soon. It's a fantastic shoe, but I think I may have found one a little bit better, but I'm not allowed to talk about it at the moment. Hashtag embargoed. Right, move along.
Hanging on. The next question I think is coming from Wilco. He's claiming a pseudonym here. Robert Hallam has asked that he's going to be transitioning from the Adrenaline 22s into the Endorphin Pros, and will he regret it?
No,
it's not.
And people will thank you for doing that. People will thank you for. They'll salute you on the street and go, "I bet that guy used to be in Brooks, but now look at that hero smashing it." See what I mean? That's be thankful that we moved you away.
Turned him from the dark side.
Yeah. Even Wilco turned up on Tuesday, tanned, rocking his hokers. Well impressed.
Yeah, smashed him around that park, didn't we, Toe?
Yeah, see? There's something in it.
They're done all right. I'm quite happy with them.
Yeah, I told you would be.
Well, I mean, legs ache.
Yeah. Right, next out.
Yeah, we'll move on to James. James Henderson successfully smashed out the Milton Keynes marathon. But he's got a 62-mile ultra coming on the 11th of June. So, should he be doing some easy miles this weekend as part of his recovery?
Yeah, 100%. 4 weeks to get that marathon out of your legs. All right, I appreciate that your marathon is in probably part of your ultra training plan, I'm guessing. You'll absolutely do the right thing by taking a down week. 100% by taking a down week after that big effort. Just rest, recover, and as we always say, listen to your body. I mean, dude, you've got your focus is on June the 11th, right? So it's all relative. So I would just chill out, take time you need, and recover. That's the most important thing. You just got to feel right, and then get back on it. But nice and steady. Grial?
I'm going to hold the rest back until we get onto the tapering and the real focus on final.
Yeah, so I'm going to add to the convo about the shoes because, hold tight. Big shout out Skechers. We've got the Razor 2 XS coming. So daily trainers, people ask me about daily trainers. So this is their sort of daily trainer. You won't see because the background thing, whatever it is. But this is there, and this has got the H plate in that we was talking about. Sio loves the his Maxro 5. So this has got an element of that in. So if you're looking for a daily trainer, apparently I've not run in. These literally arrived today, so I've not run in them. But if you watch the reviews on some of the guys in the US who've got them already, they're absolutely loving this shoe. And
can you sorry, mate, can you just tell people in layman's terms what an H plate is?
So there's a carbon infused plate here on the forefoot. So it's there to add stability, but also some propulsion. But it's not intrusive and like I call it a proper plate, but a full length plate where it's quite rigid. So you'll get a little bit of snap.
So it's in the forefoot, isn't it? Just behind the ball sort of thing.
So what they're promoting with the shoe is the heel to toe transition. So that rolling through the shoe. And when you've got the super lightweight hyperburst midsole, which is so good on Skechers, it's so comfortable. But what made me laugh, because I had to take it off the label because I'd never be able to pronounce this properly if I didn't read it. You've got the arch fit, right? But it's the podiatrist certified arch support. So if you've seen Jamie, or if you're listening to this on the podcast, you'll hear an advert from Jamie Redneck. I'm talking about arch fit. And arch fit is the podiatrist certified arch support. So if you need some arch support, check out the stuff from Skechers.
Cool. You and
I'm
Jamie,
super excited about these. Super excited. This could be. They're so light. I loved it. The first version of this shoe was a really good daily trainer. So I'm very excited to get that back on based on the review. So a bit of love for Skechers because they're sponsoring the show.
Yeah.
But
you and Jamie Redneck, best mates.
Yeah, I'm like a kid in a sweet shop when they popped in today. So I'm going to be rocking them at the Skyathlon all weekend. Natch.
Oh, brilliant.
Nachos.
Yeah, I had some nachos for dinner. Oh, it was so good.
Let's not talk about your dinner, mate. Let's not go off topic.
No, let's not go too.
Come on, let's try and show some sort of sense of organisation.
Yes, it's a good point.
You know,
we've got. Hang on, there's some hearts in the. I'm looking at the. Hang on. Mel House is in the house. Mel House.
But
Mel, you got to come on.
Heading out.
What's that?
But not for long. She's heading out. So if you're going to give her a shout,
she's got a Jubilee Street party. Hey, should we all go to her Jubilee Street?
Yeah, should we just shut this down now and go to it?
Let's go. Can we come, Mel?
Yeah, can we come, Mel? Let us in.
Mel said it'd be all right.
Yeah, be one of those, wasn't it? It was good again. I saw Mel on Monday at the volunteer. It was just, it's just again, it was just nice to see everybody.
Those coats, I like those coats. They're very natty, aren't they?
Yeah, but the t-shirts, I've got to say, right? There's two. I can't talk about the other company that I really want to lay into. Simon, if he's listening, will know about this because I was in some of their gear today, and it was Pony, right? And I'm literally fuming about it, but I'm gonna check myself in because I think I could.
Everyone's looking now on their Instagrams.
No, I could end up in trouble because I've got a raging up about this company, right? But I'm not gonna I promise I won't go into it. But the I can't even remember what I was going on about now. The t-shirts, New Balance t-shirts, London Marathon events. I know you're listening because you're big fans of the show. After we've had loads of conversations, can you sort out the t-shirts? Because that orange that was in that Vitality was Pony. It looked like it looked like the London Marathon t-shirt from the other year been put through the wash about 50 times, and the fit was terrible and the quality is terrible. So can you go back to what it was like a couple of years ago with the nice black ones and stuff like that look really awesome? Because
I've got to say as well, obviously I didn't have one because I wasn't there, but they're too bright. Because I like a summer one, and then you can't wear it down the river and all that because you just attract the flies too much.
Tobe, what did you hang on? Look, because Tobe got his extra large t-shirt. Tobe, what did you think of that t-shirt?
It was all right. It wasn't anything like ultra comfy. You know, when you put it on, you don't think I'm going to wear this like every run.
Yeah,
my nice medium t-shirt.
The best ones are Royal Parks, I think. Royal Parks, big shout out to them. Their t-shirts are quite good. I know it helps because you're giving to it by a FORDY runner, but the Royal Parks t-shirts are pretty good.
But Royal Parks haven't got to pay as much for medals.
Yeah, that's true. They got really pony medals, so that kind of nets that out. But let us know. Right, I tell you what. Then here's a thing. Either tag us on Instagram, right? Either me or the Long Run Show, whatever it is. Look it up. I don't know what the hand is. Probably should hashtag non-marketing. Right, but find us on there and send us the pictures of your favourite race day t-shirt, but also email us in what your favourite race day t-shirts ever been. The Great North Run ones are very good, actually.
Yes,
big shout out to them. They're really good t-shirts. But so let us know what your most comfortable favourite race day t-shirt. Let's circle around. Al, what's your favourite t-shirt?
I'm running this weekend, and I sign up for the race just for the t-shirt.
Really, which one's that?
Stalk 5 and 10. They don't do a medal, so it's a bit controversial. There's no medal, but the t-shirt is absolutely ace.
Is it?
It's a proper quality technical t-shirt that you can buy and run. Comes from Ireland. The manufacturer's over in Ireland, but
friends of the show.
When they've got previous years to sell, I go and buy them for a couple of quid.
Is there any chance that you can blag me one?
You can't have a t-shirt for a race you ain't running.
What? Yeah, but I want to try it.
Oh.
He's built it up. I'm excited about the t-shirt.
No. I'll bring you some of the old ones. As I said,
I'll through the wash now and then
some of the worn out ones.
Fade it a little bit, and I'll bring you one.
Right, Wilco, you're next. What's your favourite one? And don't tell me the Vitality ones.
I like the Great North Run ones, like you say.
Yeah, Great North Run.
I was out in it last night. I went up to Panzanga Park, had a bit of a spin round there at twilight. It was lovely. And you didn't do it last year. Like they had a little maroon number. It was quite nice.
Cheeky.
Yeah.
So,
I'm trying to think. I obviously don't go to the right races. I can't really say I've got any which I really like. I definitely don't like the A6 one. That was like
A6 ones. Was it the other year when they done all that where they tried to send us through and buy all that rubbish at the end?
Yeah,
they created the biggest crowd of COVID ever created, making us all try and get t-shirts at the end because it's just a stupid idea. I sacked it off because that t-shirt was pony. But I've just seen in the comments, actually, we've got to give a big shout out to London Landmarks because their t-shirts are blinded. The yellow ones, they're really good quality, actually. I really like those t-shirts. I really like that. Oh, Milton Keynes, Milton Keynes t-shirt. I've not seen that one. Be interested to see that one. So yeah, send us in. Let us know which ones you think. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Maybe the Malaysian marathon t-shirt is awesome. We'd like to see it. Or the Mongolia one, which has got a man and a lady on a horseback with a goat and a hut on it. So that's a good one, apparently. That's made by New Balance. I've seen that one. That's quite a good one. Or the Malta one. Have you seen the Malta one? It's the same colour as the flag. That's a good one. Big friends of the show. The what's it called? The tourism board for Malta now. But what else? Yeah, let us know. Send that in via email.
Should we talk about some tapering now? Being we're 35 minutes in.
We talk about nonsense for the last 35 minutes.
Oh no, I don't think I wouldn't go that far, mate. I think we've educated and entertained at the same time.
Well, educating is a strong word, Wilco. I'll be honest.
Hello, we still there?
He's gone. He's back.
No, I haven't really.
We lost him.
Just checking everyone's still awake.
So before we get into tapering, Al, do you want to fire those questions in, or do you want us to get into it?
I think talk about it, and then we'll kind of pick the questions up because they come out of general preparation, final preparation.
Okay, then. So, Chris, we start with tapering. We'll talk about the real basics then. When should you be tapering, and what should you be doing?
Right. Okay. So, basics. If you're doing your first marathon, say, you will probably see in your training plan a 3-week taper. That's pretty much the bog standard, off-the-shelf training plan. Is that right, Al? Fairness?
3 weeks is pretty standard.
Yeah. You know. So 3 weeks. If you're doing your first marathon, it's 3 weeks, and that period of time allows you to come down nice and gently. We always say marathon training, you know, it's like going up a mountain and, you know, reaching the peak in the, you know, top part. So you're there at the right physical, mental state, right? And it allows you to sort of regroup and be in the best form. Your body's healed a little bit, your mind's healed a little bit, that fatigue's gone a little bit, and you get to race start in the best possible shape by doing that. Now, you reduce your mileage, you reduce your intensity and all this sort of stuff as you go through that. But if you're going into maybe your second, third marathon, your taper becomes a really, really important part of your marathon training plan. One of the most important, because if you don't get your taper right, you're not going to be fresh for race day, or you might be too fresh for race day. It's a very fine balance, and it's something you've got to play with. Now, I've played with mine. Talk about me as shock, right? But talk about mine, and I've now got it down to about 2.5 weeks. And I factor that into my training plan, my own one that I do. And if I'm writing a training plan for somebody, we will go through the taper in detail as we get towards that point, because it needs to fit in what your journey's been before your marathon training plan, during the marathon training plan, and then towards the end of it. Because again, you might be coming up from a different base. You might be starting at a different, you know, a reasonable level of fitness. So your taper will look something slightly different. But I go for a 2.5 week taper. I pretty much just lower down the intensity of the runs. I keep the frequencies up. So 6 times a week I run. I'll keep that keep the frequency going, but I'll just reduce the intensity. So, classic example, instead of doing a 6-mile goal paced run, it might be a 6-mile easy paced run. Or I might even just drop down to 5, whatever I feel like on the day. The sort of easier stuff still stays easy. I do keep one fast paced run in the week, a high effort, because you need to keep the legs active and you need to keep that speed in your legs. You don't want to fall off the cliff in terms of what you're doing. So I'll always keep one high effort session in there, but I just reduce the sort of other higher stuff to mediums and the sort of medium stuff to easy efforts as I go through the week. I reduce the mileage down as well. So peak miles, 50 miles goes down to 40, goes down to 30, and then sort of goes down to like 25, whatever. In terms of the long runs, I bring it down, but I'm a bit unusual to some people. The week before, I like to do a race. I like to do a half marathon before a marathon, because I like to use that as my practice. You know, I'll use the first 3 miles. And literally, I'm starting on Edinburgh, right? So I'm on the start line of Edinburgh, and all right, I'm at Hackney, but I'm thinking I'm at Edinburgh, and I'll do the first 3 miles as though I was doing the actual race that I'm doing the week after. So I get my strategy right, I get my pacing right. I understand what I've got to do on race day. I go through the rigmarole of going to the toilet, 18 times, of doing the bag drop, of the hustle and bustle of getting up early and doing the whole race thing the week before. So I'm really in tune come race day. After the 3 miles, I then just cock about for 10 miles and just get the bling. So, no change than normal, really. But the important part for that day is actually the morning of the build up. So I'm effectively mimicking race day. I'll wear pretty much what I'd wear on race day, other than different probably shirt or whatever. But exactly the same thing, you know, Vaseline up my toes, tape up the bits that I'd normally tape up, you know, all those sort of stuff. You know, set my pace pro thing up, or if that's what I'm going to do, I don't know, I'm not decided yet, but I would literally mimic it like that. And that's me in terms of tapering, because I feel like what I do there would be the same effort as like a 6 mile run the week before a race. So it's the same amount of effort. So it's quite an individual thing, a taper. When you get into that, you know, when you're doing your second or third marathon, you really want to really fine tune it, and you should, you know, think about what's worked in the past, because, you know, 3 weeks is quite a long time for a taper. If you already got a decent base level and you're sort of going into a race with a plan and an achievement, think about what you're doing in terms of your taper, because if you get it right, it can be a game changer. You know, you get literally on that race in the best condition possible. But at the same time, if you're doing too much, you're going to be wrecked. You're not backed out enough, and you're going to be, you know, you wouldn't have healed. You wouldn't have had the time off of your feet to let yourself recover, and you won't be race ready. So that's the sort of ins and outs of it. I know I've whittled on a little bit, but hopefully that's kind of useful. Al, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, a couple of kind of compares and contrasts, really. Being a Henderson plan follower, it's slightly different. I think the principle's the same. And I'm only a week away from my next marathon. So that where it's similar, keeping those speed sessions up. So 2 weeks out, my speed session was 6 lots of a mile and a half. Sorry, 4 lots of a mile and a half. This week, I've had a bit of a cold, so I've not managed to nail it, but it would have been 6 lots of 1 mile. But the miles do stay high. So on a Henderson plan, that last week is only really where you see your mileage cut. I think the argument for that is that because you're not doing the 22s and the 23 milers every other week, your recovery is different. I'm not saying it's wrong, it's just different. Your recovery needs are different on a Henderson plan.
Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah. Can you expand on that, Al, about what your recovery means are different? What
do you mean?
So
the Henderson plan doesn't send you out for your 20 plus miler training runs as your long, slow run. You are pretty much capped. You know, it's down personal choice, but the plan will peak at 16. So 6 miles doesn't sound a lot, but it's the difference between, you know, doing a half marathon with a little bit extra, you know, versus doing a half marathon, going out and doing another 10K. And that difference can have a compound effect quite significantly if you're doing 3, 4, 5 lots of 20 miles plus. And the cumulative wear and tear and effect can be quite significant. Hence
when you're doing Henderson, it's in more sort of even-sized chunks during the week, isn't it?
So still running 6 times a week, but typically when I'm in my peak plan, I might be doing 1 16 miler, but I could be doing 2 10s and a couple of 8s. So, but they're pretty much all at easy pace with a speed session thrown in like that, you know, tempo or fartlek or pyramid or something like that. So it's a different approach, which just means you come into it needing a different recovery strategy. But I would say, you know, keep the speed work in there. Don't neglect that. Lots of people like to run the day before their marathon.
Yeah.
So lots of the majors and the big races will plan a shakeout run. So I'll be going off and searching out a Danish park run on Saturday morning. Did it before Berlin. The atmosphere was absolutely fantastic. But some people just don't want to take chances. They just want to focus on, you know, staying fit. Don't want to take any runs where they could pull, flip, slip, trip or whatever. So it can be very personal, but I do appreciate if you've not done one before, follow the plan. Stick to the plan.
Stick to the plan.
As you learn about your own preferences.
Yeah, it's interesting.
What questions have we got there now? What are people asking?
Yeah, so it's very much focused on the kind of final prep. So we've got a couple that are related to warmer weather training. So as we head towards Edinburgh, we're kind of heading into a bit of a warmer spell. So I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to throw 2 out at the same time. So be ready for this.
He's gone rogue. He's had 1 week off. He's gone rogue.
I'm feeling super confident now.
Oh.
So Dave Parrish has asked about the long, slow runs in the warmer weather. Gets that he would normally tackle those perhaps a minute and a half pace slower. Should he slow down even more during the warmer weather? And Ben Beard is firing that one at you guys that will be running the Edinburgh. If it is a warm day, how will it affect your approach to race day?
Right. Well, I tell you what was interesting, because today was hot, 23 degrees, right? And I was. If you're watching this live, you'd see it. But I've got on the podcast, I've got my name instead of having 40. I've got Dehydrated written on there because I've got myself. We went out at lunchtime. I was busy in the morning. And I wasn't. And looking back, because I always try to look over what I did wrong and didn't right, and I'd always recommend you do that after every run, and what went well and what didn't go well, so you can improve. But basically, I wasn't hydrated enough before I went out. I always say, and I tell everybody, be hydrated before you start your run, right? And the boys will know because it drives them up the wall. Usually, after about 15 minutes after we've left the house, I'm running into a bush. It's like classic FORDY on a long run. I'm jumping into a bush after 15 minutes. And that's because I've been drinking water and hydrating all morning before we've gone out for a run. And I literally have a glass before we leave, and it drives me up the wall. But I didn't do that today. And I really felt it. And we only 15, but I felt that at 15 miles today. I also went a bit bananas at about 13 miles. I went bananas and started running 2 miles at 10k pace, which probably wasn't a smart idea in 23 degrees at the end of a longer run. And I basically chewed myself up before the end of the run. So you've got to take care when you're out there. And yeah, you've got to manage that pace a little bit smart. Personally, I always, in the summer, Toby knows this, we really, really run to heart rate in the summer, because you can track it a little bit better in terms of your sort of output and your levels and where you're at. If with your heart rate, you can really tune it in. I would, as always, recommend wearing a chest strap or some form of other monitor than your wristwatch. But for me, I would run more to heart rate in the warmer weather, so I know that if I'm in zone 2, I'm comfortable. If I'm creeping up to zone 4, then I'm probably pushing it a little bit too hard. So that's my advice to anybody in terms of pacing and stuff like that. In terms of Edinburgh, how will it change my approach? I've got to be honest with you, I'll worry about it on the day because I can't do anything about it. So I will go there with my game plan of what I want to achieve on the day, which, if you're not following the vlogs, is a sub 3:45 marathon. If it don't happen, it don't happen. I couldn't give a monkeys. But that's my plan. That's what I'll be pacing. That'll be my strategy. If the weather's warm, it's warm. I mean, I ran the 2000 and whatever London Marathon when it was hotter than the sun, and I got around that without dying. So it is what it is. I'll suck it up on the day. We cruised through halfway. Funny enough, we was talking about this today, so I know we cruised through that. Me, Bill, and I think Captain Ed. We cruised through that half time, and we was on pace for a sub 4. And then basically it got so hot that we just backed the hell out of it. And I cruised in at just under 5 hours, 4:40 something. I don't even know what it was. So you adjust on the day. So
I think me looking, it's my second. Excuse me. It'll be my second marathon at Edinburgh, and I only decided what my strategy was going to be for the first one when I was lying in bed the night before, just thinking about it and what I was going to do. So I haven't really sort of contemplated a hard and fast plan at the moment anyway. So I'll be seeing what's happening with the weather and just factor that into my final equations.
But you shouldn't necessarily let the weather dictate.
Oh, no.
Because, you've been training in a different way. You shouldn't. You should have your plan, Wilco. A bit of a pep talk. You should have your plan already. You should have had your plan before you started your plan. So you knew what you was aiming for. So you could tailor all your runs, your efforts, and everything.
Well, maybe I'm just not telling anybody.
He's just winging it. He's going. Everybody, let us know in the comments. Is Wilco going for a sub 3-hour marathon? Is going to surprise us all.
Anybody who's met me will know that I am not going for a sub 3 marathon.
What did you say? Subway?
Only if you've got a bike.
You're going to Subway 3 times. But Al is the person in terms of like insight into this with his PT hat on. Al,
well, I was just going to pick up a little bit on the science in terms of backing up what you've said about running to heart rate, Chris, and the reason why we're slowing down. You know, the body will naturally be working much, much harder as the temperature rises. And you can go away and look at the stats, you know, in terms of for every 1 degree, how much slower should you run. But that's in essence why we're saying slow it down, because all your vital organs are just, you know, working overtime, trying to cool, trying to push the heat out, do whatever it is to kind of come back to stable. Our body's always looking to get back to normal. So if we're out running long and we're running long in the warm and we're losing water, that's why the hydration comes in, and that's why just pulling off the pace to run to a slower heart rate will just allow you to have a more comfortable run. So there's a lot of science to back it, as well as that instinctive feel about running slower in the warm.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. Back that up. My last mile today, we was running easy pace, but my heart rate was, because I was dehydrated, was through the roof, and it wasn't anything other than the pure dehydration. I knew I was dehydrated, and it was affecting me, and we backed out of it as well. But you could see that in relation with the heart rate, the fact that it still wasn't coming down, and it didn't really stabilize until I got back to size and had a Calippo. Which, wherever you are in the world, that's basically
sorry to Simon's kid, he's at all your lollies.
Yeah, so if you want to sponsor the show, Wolves, just send an email at longrunsomething.com. But yeah, no, so it didn't stabilize my heart rate until basically I had hydrated. I took on some what's it called, fluids and electrolytes. Thank you very much. Electrolytes, and basically really rehydrated and spent a lot of time. And I've been hydrating all since I got home. I've drunk about 8 liters of water and stuff like that. And you can tell a difference. But I knew where I was at because of my heart rate. So that's a sort of, I would look into that personally if it was me. Right. So now, Al, what else we got?
Well, we're still on the Edinburgh page. Tan Man, if you're listening, I think you kind of know the answer to this already, but I'm going to chuck it out there, and Toby may be able to contribute something sensible. But he wants to know, you guys, if you've got a plan A, a plan B, or a plan C. And I think Chris and Wilco have kind of said no. So, Toby, have you got a plan A, a plan B, or a plan C for Edinburgh?
I can tell you the answers.
I've kind of got a plan A,
which
and
is
B and C are just revisions of plan A depending on the day.
What's plan A?
Get there.
You just get to Edinburgh. If it's a lazy calf, we're just going to get to Edinburgh. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Me and my lazy calf. It's hard, that.
And that's it. You're going to add no more value to your listeners than that.
No, I'm going to get to Edinburgh, get to start line. I know what my plan is. My ideal plan is.
Which is?
And then to run the marathon.
Oh, he's honestly, you're not going to get it.
He's keeping it close to his chest, isn't he?
And then, but we'll check in at sort of 10k halfway, just see where we're at. I mean, sometimes marathons don't go to plan. I know that.
Yeah, he does know that.
A lot of people
I'd like to run faster than I did the first time.
Yeah, but again, Wilco, you need to have Wilco. I'm just telling you now, you need to have a plan before you start.
I have.
Yeah. Okay. Good. What is it?
I know what, because obviously I've needed it because I need to know what my marathon pace is and things like that for when I'm doing my training runs.
Yeah, but are you sandbagging and not trying? Because I think you can go faster than you think.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I'm not. I'm not going to. I'm going to. I think there's two different types of marathon runners. There's those who are desperate to run particular times, and there's those who are like to go to different places and have a look around and do a bit of tourism and have a good time. And I'm in the latter bracket.
Yeah, I like being in the latter bracket, but we're only trying to run a time at the same time. I would say, to be fair, because Abby touched on this last week, it is, if you didn't listen to last week's show, listen back to that and the other 45 episodes of this, I'm sure, going to be award-winning show. Make sure you listen to all of them. But no, it's to have a, like she said, gold, silver, and bronze for the day. So whatever that is, you should always step onto the start line and go, right, ultimate goal is today, for me, 3:35. Thanks very much. Cheers. Gold medal. See you later. Silver, 3:45. Thanks a lot. Lovely seeing you, Edinburgh. Bronze, finish. I had the best time ever. I had a right laugh. Thanks very much. See you later. I'm going to Amsterdam. Tear it up. So it's a really good thing to know that before the race starts, Wilco.
I'm just not telling you.
No, but I don't know why everyone's so bleeding secret about it. I don't get why everyone goes, I'm not going to tell them my race.
Cam, man, what I'll do is I'll get them to write their ABCs down, stick them in an envelope.
Okay.
And then after the event, we'll see whether.
All right. Okay. I'll tell you. C, bronze, get round.
Yeah, Natch.
B, beat 4:48 that I did in Yorkshire.
Good boy. You'll do that.
A, 4:30.
Good boy. Perfect.
Committed.
That's what you want. You want to be, right? Marathon running, you need to be committed, like Al said, to whatever the goal is, whether it's just to finish the damn thing without ending up in St. John's ambulance as your goal, whatever it is, but you need to commit to that before you start your training. But more and importantly, on race day, you know what you're aiming for, and then you can just adjust.
Al was talking about his mate who divvied up his marathon into 3 lots of 14K, and I'm going to be sort of trying to do 6 lots of 7 in 45 minutes.
Oh, getting complicated now with the maths.
That sounds like a lot of information.
Which is 4.5 hours.
Do you want people to sort of like walk along with like a board with like that written on so you can remember it?
Oh, what, like Lewis Hamilton has and all that?
Yeah, so I'm saying like that. Yeah, hanging out. By the way,
how does he read that at 200 miles an hour?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. How the hell, totally unrelated, how the hell they see that at 200 miles an hour? I've got no idea. But anyway, right. So what else we got, Al?
Yeah, still got a few to come. We got Rod Lambert has already picked up on the importance of speed work in his marathon prep, but has focused it in on strength and conditioning. What should he be doing? So I'm going to ask you guys, what strength and conditioning have you been doing as part of your marathon preparation? I might know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway.
I do. My cousin is a personal trainer, and I do a group session with him every Wednesday. We do strength, bit of weights, a lot of body weight sort of stuff, press ups, squats, and all that sort of business. So yeah, I do try and do something a little bit different.
I lift pizza. It goes out, and I lift it, and then I shove it in. I go down. And what I try and find is if I sit upright and do it, it goes in. Now, I actually think, and it's a serious question, I actually think that if I don't achieve the time I want to, I know it's down to the fact of my lack of strength and conditioning work in this marathon block. And the reason it is because in the previous block, for COVID and all that, I was swimming, right? And my aim for the summer block is to go back into the pool, because I really found the benefit of that, mainly on my breathing. I've spoken about it in the past. But this block, and I'm not moaning, but because I'm so damn busy, right? And again, not moaning, but I quite simply I've not had the time this block to do that. I would tell my clients, and I would you should even drop a run and go get and do something, right? Because of the benefits. So I already know that if I don't achieve what I want to achieve, I know the reason, and that's because I've not worked on my strength and conditioning in this block. And that's down to basically just life being in the way and being too busy. But already, because I'm already into my next training block, right? I know I've got race coming up, but I'm already thinking about my next training block, and I'm already working out when and where I'm going to be back in the pool. That's a big thing, that I'm going to be back in the pool again for my next training block, because I know how much it benefits me, even though I absolutely hate swimming, because well, I don't hate swimming as much as I hate cycling, but I hate swimming because it's just so damn boring. But yeah, so I will, that's, that answers the question 0, apart from lifting pizza and wine gums.
Do you hate swimming because you can't talk to anyone?
Oh yeah, maybe that's what it is.
It.
Is that
that's
why when
I was under the water? So maybe we should go swimming together, and then I could talk to you if we do breaststroke.
Well, while I'm sitting there drowning with my armbands.
Oh yeah, Tobe can't swim. Sorry about that. Tobe, answer the question about Tobe's strength and conditioning work is lifting up his lazy calf and putting it down again.
Well, I've done a bit of that. I did. I got asked this when I was at the physio of what strength and conditioning do you do, and I said,
lie?
No. I was quite honest, because I think there's no point in going to a place like that and lying, is there?
Spending 60 quid,
because it's not going to benefit you. And actually, the answer I got back from the physio was, "But what do you do for work?" And unlike contrary belief, I actually have a half physical job.
Don't tell me. I'm not having that. I'm not having that.
It's a revelation.
I'm not having that. Next week, I'm showing all the WhatsApp pictures that you send of you eating and sitting down in front of a laptop. I'm not having it.
Yeah, but how does that
no way.
get there?
No, not having it. No, I'm not. An active job is like a copper who has to walk 20,000 steps additionally on top of what they're walking.
My mate's a postman. He walks 36,000 steps a day. That's a physical job.
A warehouse person getting stuck on the shelf. You sit on your bum and eat Leon all day.
Not true. No. How
we
does
want evidence.
Get there in the first place?
Right, I tell you, I'm not having this. He's talking about ills in London, and now he's talking about an active job. It's too much. So, can we move on to something else?
I was going to try and provide a sensible answer, but
I think the point is that you can consider what you do in your everyday life and work.
You can't consider.
He's still going.
Do more than you think. There's always more you can do.
I'm afraid to say Toby's not completely wrong. So part of the answer is, what we do all day, every day, can be part of strength and conditioning.
Oh. So I'm doing strength and conditioning work now.
I said part. So walking upstairs, lifting up shopping can all be part of your strength and conditioning. You don't have to overcomplicate it. What I would say is that you focus on your, using the technical term, posterior chain, which is your glutes, your hamstrings and your calves. So Toby, that lazy calf does need some work. The exercises don't need to be complicated. So squats, lunges, a Romanian deadlift sounds complicated.
What?
But a Romanian deadlift.
Can you do?
If you imagine lifting up your shopping, standing on one leg and kind of arching like that, you can replicate a Romanian deadlift. Don't forget your core.
Be dead, eh?
So planking, dead bugs, keeping that core strong because that'll all help you maintain form. Because power and speed are related. So
you wrote this down.
Power, you've got the form. You'll help deliver the speed.
But I find that the vegetables, because obviously being vegan, that I get don't weigh that much. So, do they? What?
Not after you've eaten them all.
Nah.
They don't make it that far, do they?
I still can't get over that. Right, Al, because we've been going over an hour. We've got any other standout questions? Because we've got to wrap this up.
We've got one question. I've lost the lady's name, so do apologise. But it's about heart rate training. So it's because it's an anonymous user. There you go. That's why I didn't get the name. She didn't give it to us.
Last question.
But it's asking about running to heart rate. How does it work, and how would I go about it? Bearing in mind I'm on a run every day strategy. I
think I'll be straight up. I think we actually need a standalone episode on heart rate training, running the heart rate. And I think we exclude Toby from it because he's going to tell lies through the whole thing. And we have a sensible conversation about that on another episode. We could even do that next week. We'll see.
Well, I think next week we should probably sort of like tie up a bit with the tapering, and we can talk a bit about paranoia and things like that. And then perhaps we'll talk about heart rate training a little later on.
Yeah,
but
we will come to it. I think
that's, isn't it?
Yeah, send your questions in to something.
longrunShow@gmail.com
with your heart rate questions, but also heart rate experiences, heart rate advice. Maybe you're a guru on this. There's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions.
Maybe you think it's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, some people don't. But I tell you what, when you get into this, there's people out there who've got very strong opinions, and I can testify that because I got absolutely carried out by a load of horrible people on YouTube who just took me to pieces. But then I just deleted it. So what are they going to do about it? But there's some heartless people out there. See what I did there? Who think they know everything. And on a serious note, there are people genuine who are experienced in this more than us. So we would genuinely love to hear from you and give some insight into this heart rate training. And if you want to come on the show, happy to have you on the show and hear about that as well. So send those emailers into whatever Wilco said.
longrunShow@gmail.com.
And we'll do a kind of heart rate training special. I think.
Yeah, we'll sort that out for some time in the near future.
Yeah.
So should we wind things up then?
Yeah, I think I still can't get over the fact that he reckons he's got an active job. I'm sorry. I just can't get over it.
I'll take your photo evidence now.
No, we don't want
I did.
Shh. Go away.
He's pleading he's pleading innocence on this, but we're not having any of it. So thanks ever so much again for joining us. We're here every Friday on YouTube and Facebook, 7 o'clock. We love to have your company. We've had it for the last 46 weeks. Oh, we need 50. What are we do for 50? A little big party or something?
Yeah, big party.
All round Mel's.
Yeah, Mel's.
Yeah, all round Mel's Jubilee.
Yeah, we're going.
Yeah, bring your own fairy cakes. Right. Yeah. So thanks ever so much. So if you can't catch us at 7 o'clock on a Friday on either Facebook or YouTube, then remember you can download this pile of whatever mess. That's the word I'm looking for on your podcast provider of choice. So we're on Amazon, Apple, Spotify, all those sort of things. Big thank you to Sketchers again. Please send us a review. We don't mind if it's constructive, and it'll give us pointers to think about how we can improve things. But
absolutely,
we like receiving the ones that are really lovely best. So if you could dig a few of them out, that'd be great. Yeah. We'd really appreciate that. Thanks ever so much for joining us again. Cheers, Chris. Cheers, Toe.
Yeah,
cheers, Al. Enjoy the Skyathlon if you're going. Wish you the very best of luck. Hope it looks like the weather's going to be all right. So
good luck to Al on Sunday. Good luck to Al. Stall. Big shout out, Al.
Oh yeah. Good luck to everybody. I know Petra's going, so you've got to try and catch her.
No.
It's Petra going.
Yeah, Petra's going. Petra and Kaz from Watford, she's going too. So
right. So Petra, if you're listening, can you get me one of those t-shirts? Because I don't think ours he might not do it. So can you get me a t-shirt? Can someone get me a t-shirt? Oh, please.
No shame at all. There you go. So thanks ever so much for joining us again. And there's nothing left to say. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your running. Stay safe. Remember your sun cream this week. And we'll see you all again at 7 o'clock next Friday. So thanks so much, guys. Thanks for your company.
Roll the tiles.